G'day, have I got a story for you? Check the disclaimer. Season 2, Episode 3, Thwarted Twain. I remember when I helped a little girl. It was my second rescue of caged children, and I was really scared. I decided that even if the scientists found out that I did it, it was worth it to save so many lives. The girl was almost as small as me, but she had the most beautiful black curls I had ever seen. She had a name, which was unusual. Many children born in facilities don't have names. I can see that she remembers that the woman who birthed her secretly named her Nomi. Nomi was in a long line of children who were all sitting on round things, like a hula hoop made of metal with chicken wire in the middle. They each had 3 chains bolted to a long steel rod that was connected to the ceiling. There were 3 rows of these cages. One of each child's ankles were chained to the edge of the wire they were sitting on. They were all so cold and so skinny, even skinnier than me. Nomi's thoughts were crying out to someone, anyone, to help her. She was so scared and thought that she might. She had seen 3 other children lose their lives in these round cages and watched as they were taken away. They were thrown in dumpsters that they used to collect rubbish, ready to be incinerated. They were immediately replaced by other children. I wanted to help her. I knew what I wanted to do, but wondered, could I actually do it? I wasn't sure. I didn't want to get her hopes up if I couldn't do it. First, I contacted Mason on the surface, who I knew lived nearby. He immediately stopped what he was doing to get ready for the rescue. He emptied his small truck and put blankets down for the children to sit on. Then all the clothes he had been gathering since I rescued him. He emptied his cupboards of food, which he also put in the back of the truck. He was headed for the car park on the side that was most sheltered, with his wire cutters ready. While he was doing this, I contacted Nomi in her thoughts. I asked her to let the children all know to be ready. Nomi wasn't sure if I was even real, but just in case, she whispered to those near her, who passed her message along the line. Be ready to escape, be ready to run, be ready, we've got to be ready just in case it's real. Yes, the thing on our leg is supposed to just unlock by itself. Somehow, be ready, we've got to be ready just in case. I watched, concentrating on the children more than the tests they were conducting on me in a lower level at the time. It was easy. I had done similar tests before. We waited for the perfect time. The moment the last adult had left the area the children were in. I made sure that the elevator doors that went to the levels below could not be opened on the level the children were on. I removed all the children's ankle metal things, and many of them pushed themselves off the edge of their wire cages onto the floor. Most of them rushed for the elevator that led to the surface above, and I let them all know in their thoughts that they needed to help those who could not get off the wire cages themselves, and those who were too weak to walk. Not one person will be left behind. Most of them didn't hear me, but Nomi told them that no one can leave until everyone's ready. I made sure the elevators that led to the surface were at their level, but kept them closed until every one of those children were ready. I could see in one boy's mind that he knew where the elevators led and thought he could drive one of those long cars if he could get it started. Clever, but there was no need. I made sure Nomi told everyone the plan. The moment they exit the elevator at the surface, they need to run to their left, to the tall wire fence where they would see the truck. I try to show some of them what a truck is in their minds, but many of them just don't notice. I can see that almost all of them are now determined to help those who need it. 2 boys are carrying one child who has passed out. Together they will make sure that he is not left behind. They all reach the surface, and many of them stop and stare, shading their eyes. They've never seen the sunlight before. Nomi reminds them to move quickly and points to the fence, saying to them that the metal-looking thing beyond the fence is the truck, ready to take them to safety. All who can run, go, and many others walk quickly, helping other children get there. They often stumble on the uneven ground, with so many of them not used to walking on anything but flat surfaces. Some bend over as they run to touch the grass, amazed at the colour and texture. Mason opens the back of the truck and lets them know that there are clothes and food ready for them. He says that he lives nearby, so it won't take long to get home. Many of them wonder what home is. It's amazing what Mason has achieved since being free. I am glad that the children will all be well taken care of by him. He already knows couples who would like to be parents to some of the children. He always tries to match the children's appearance to the parents' appearance. There is less problems when he does this because other people just assume they are their biological children. I didn't have Stephanie to help us with all the legalities back then. I don't know how, but Mason sorted everything out. He's so clever. Nomi and some others stayed with Mason, 7 of them. He was their dad, and they were all his beloved children. However, whenever anyone visited, they all had their roles to play to remain safe. Their roles were 4 who looked like him were his children. The oldest boy, who looked nothing like him, was his adopted child, when other people asked. They were all actually his adopted children, and he had all the legal papers to prove it, but it just wasn't really socially acceptable. He didn't want to spend hours with people defending his decision to adopt 7 as a single father. He didn't actually say that the 4 were his biological children. They were just his children. All of them were, really. It's amazing how people expect other people to fit into whatever they decide is acceptable. The 2 others either just hid until the visitors left, or sometimes the boy pretended to work for him. He changed into old ragged clothes that they had ready for this purpose. The boy often stayed outside doing a few things that Mason had taught all the boys, as though it was his job until the visitors left. Nomi liked to hide in the attic. Nomi and 2 other children loved playing cook and had their own tea sets and pots in the attic, where they often played. It was a lovely big attic with 2 high windows, so had plenty of light. Nomi liked having the whole room to herself when the visitors were downstairs. The boy wasn't really interested in stonemasonry and usually went over to chop firewood if the visitors came out to the workshed. That's where the gravestone samples were for the visitors to choose from. Or maybe I should call them customers. Back at the facility, the adults could not get to the area from where the children escaped and had no idea they were gone. They referred to it as the elevator area because one wall had elevators that went to the surface and the other wall had elevators that went down to many levels of the facility. I had broken the elevator doors to the lower levels, so they wouldn't open. It took them a long time to get through, and when they did, it was too late. The children were already at Mason's house, bathed, fed, and in beds that they absolutely loved. Most of them had never seen a bed before, and gladly made room for each other, topped and tailed. And Mason gave them his big bed, which had 5 children at the top and 4 children at the bottom. He slept on a lounge room chair, since the couch was already taken by 2 children. They all slept so well that night. Most of the people who worked at the facility had ignored the children in the high round cages. It was easier for many of them to pretend they were not there. There was one person assigned to give them food, drink, and clean up the floor under their cages. Most of these children were previously used as fairy floss babies, and those who survived were used by the scientists and had to endure many experiments. Not one person at that facility suspected that I helped them. I hope they all live good, long lives. I'm so glad they are free.
I call out to Eric. Cooey! Eric! Come and have a gander! I just finished! Eric tries to walk quickly over without spilling his cuppa. Don't think I've ever seen anyone drink as much tea as him. Tea with every meal, plus morning tea, afternoon tea, and supper. He's twice spilled his cuppa on the cards when we're playing canasta.
Struth!
Eric exclaims.
You did that fast? And it looks beaut too. Good on you, mate.
Eric and I are renovating. We're on our 3rd house now. We bought a property with 5 huge sheds on it and removed all the junk the previous owners had put in them. We also removed the back walls of the 3 sheds on this side of the property so we could get building materials in easily. We decided to use the sheds to build the houses in because they're so big and we could keep up the hard yakka in any weather. When the first house was completed, we were ready to remove the roof and other 3 sides of the shed, but we changed our minds and decided to leave the 3 sides and roof there, sheltering the house. We had all the big windows on the front of the house anyway, which was actually facing the back of the sheds where we removed the wall, to take advantage of the view.
Why would anyone build 3 huge sheds blocking the view? Seems like there were a few sangers short of a picnic. Maybe they didn't like watching the sunset filtering through the leaves of the trees. The missus, Audrey, and I have a captain cook almost every evening. It's bonza. We sit and have cuppas while we're having a squiz. The other 2 sheds on the other side of the property block the rising sun. Maybe they just had an aversion to the sun. Or maybe they were vampires.
The high open windows on the other 3 sides of the sheds are beaut for ventilation, and we can also open the shed doors if needed.
Or the doors could be kept shut to keep the sunlight out on hot days. Hey, weren't the windows boarded up when we bought the property? Oh, they were vampires.
Eric has a very unique sense of humour. When asked what we were doing for a living, fair dinkum, we've found it exhausting trying to explain we're building 3 houses. I reckon they've got Buckley's chance of understanding anyway. The inquiries that follow are, where are they on your property, mate? We don't see any houses being built, and why are you building in your shed? What do you need 3 for? And the list goes on. There's actually going to be 5 altogether when we're finished. We've found it much easier to say that we're renovating, and usually no questions follow. Technically, building houses inside sheds could be called renovating. We're renovating the sheds into houses. Sort of. Each of the houses are 3 stories high and have many large bedrooms with a big bathroom on each floor. We expect to help a lot of people who have no home in the future, so we want them ready. If we remove the outer sheds, they would look like mansions. We spare no expense. I've just finished the bathroom in the 3rd story of the 3rd house, and all the water will be connected in the next week. We have 3 plumbers booked, 1 for each house, so they'll hopefully be ready quickly. The 3rd house needs a coat of paint on the top floor, then we can move the furniture in. Me missus has enjoyed choosing furniture and making each room look unique. If it was up to me, every room would look the same. I've been informed as to why they should all be perfectly decorated, but fair dinkum, I just need to stay out of it. It's not my forte. I gather up my tools and take them back downstairs. It looks like Eric is going to finish his cuppa up in that bathroom. Odd place to have a cuppa, but then, it's Eric. He'd have a cuppa anywhere. He likes just standing, looking at the finished product. It's amazing having 3 bathrooms in one house, including 3 loos. It's unheard of, such luxury. I go to put my tools away. Only a few years ago, there were still outhouses. Then it was so luxurious to have an indoor loo. And now we've got 3 per house, 9 altogether. If we told people, I'm sure they wouldn't believe us. Eric and I are taking 6 weeks off when this is finished, partly to move into the top story of the house we built, and partly to have a break before we begin in the next 2 houses on the other side of the property. Eric and Audrey are going to take the left side with 4 bedrooms, and Harriet and I will take the right side with 6. It sounds like I'm getting the better deal, but it's just according to how many children we would like to adopt. Eric and Audrey are happy to adopt 6 children, so 3 bedrooms for their children and 1 for them. Harriet and I are happy to adopt as many as we can. We know that many will need homes, and we can't take them all, but we start with 10 in 5 bedrooms, and 1 bedroom for us. We were wondering if we might need to open an orphanage, but that sort of thing will probably be noticed. And when asked where all the children came from, what are we going to say? Underground? What about all the scars on their bodies? How do we explain that they were tortured by scientists? No one would believe us. So 5 rooms for 10 children, and we'll see what happens after that. If we could just have access to one of those machines, we could remove all the scars and all the injuries. Imagine being able to fix deformities within a few minutes. It could change those children's lives forever. Wishful thinking. I stand at the back of the sheds looking at the front of the 3 houses. They look bonza. Almost finished. Where's Eric? Surely he's not still gazing at tiles in the bathroom.
I really like the look of this bathroom. Steve-O did a great job with the tiling. I can do just about everything else, but tiling? Such tedious work. And I can never seem to keep them straight. I really need to get a bigger cup. I can hear footsteps. I turn to see Harriet and Audrey at the top of the stairs.
Did the tiling get finished?
Audrey asks. Yeah, I answer. Only about 5 minutes ago. Doesn't it look beaut? Steve-O does such a great job with the tiling. Harriet asks.
Where is Stephen?
I look towards the stairs. I think he's putting his tools away. Stephen meets us as we reach the ground floor.
So, what do you think?
I think you did a wonderful job as usual.
Harriet smiles.
I think the rest of the walls should be painted white. That way, whatever towels and accessories we put in, they won't clash.
I really like the mission brown cupboards.
Audrey says.
It's a very popular colour at the moment.
I suggest. Well, I think we should all celebrate no more tiling. With a cuppa. Everyone joins in. How'd you know? I ask everyone in mock surprise. Audrey hands me a package and says,
Don't drop it.
I unwrap it. And inside is the biggest mug I've ever seen. Oh, I'm wrapped. You little ripper, I say. I could fit a whole pot of tea in this. Maybe 2 pots. Maybe a few more pots.
Only 4 weeks later, every room is filled, including our 5 bedrooms for our children. We have 4 boys and 6 girls. They are all so happy. And so are we.
Thank you so much for joining us with a cuppa. We appreciate your company.